Hey YouTubers, this is Captain593 and today I'm playing Predecessor as a tanky Countess. So this is a recent build that came out with the Revenant patch, and I'm trying it right now in the offlane. I actually kind of like this build. It makes Countess very tanky and pretty hard to kill. She can dive towers, which is pretty interesting. She also has a lot of good damage, and you can see I am being friendly with the crunch, but I should probably just stop making friends with enemy and start coordinating with my jungler, who is Rampage, and we will be coordinating a little bit because we're duo queuing, so might as well coordinate. At this point, I'm going to get into a little scuffle with the crunch, nothing too crazy, but just kind of making him aware that we're going to fight. Rampage comes in with a rock thrown across the camera, very aesthetic, and we can still secure the kill. So that is good. Back to laning though. At this point I get the green buff, which is nice, making sure that, you know, Crunch can't get it. But then I return to base and back to lane. I am building Fire Blossom first because I think it's good to have that kind of pressure for having damage over time around enemies, minions included. It can just help, you know, make things easier for us. In the end game, we would have Lifebinder as well, which would increase the lifesteal that we receive through Fire Blossom. I go to mid, but nothing really to see there. However, left lane is having some action, so I do want to get in on the fight, and specifically to focus down their enemy carry, which is Revenant. So I go in, spamming abilities, trying to get his health down as much as possible, and actually ult, but Revenant was already dead by Decker, so I ult the steal. That's just great. Didn't really matter, somewhat of a misplay, but still got the Revenant kill, and we're rewarded with a Fangtooth fight as well. Our friend Crunch came from right lane. He's my responsibility, but try to poke him a little bit. And we can secure a kill right here, but Rampage is a bit low, so he'll retreat, which is fine. I spam for our team to retreat as well. I don't really want to fight here. I don't really have much mana. If I did have mana though, I would absolutely go for that Gideon at mid, but that's okay. Now we're back to the laning phase. Crunch got the green buff this time, which is okay, not ideal. We get into a little scuffle, and my minions are actually with me, so he takes a good amount of damage. And I'm committed to fighting. However, Steel, their enemy jungler, comes out of nowhere, and that is my cue to leave. It might have been a misplay because I do have the mana and the health, but I didn't have my teleport, because I already wasted that, so. I see Crunch, he is low, I have ult, I go in. And yes, that's a tower dive, and that is a-okay. Even if, you know, Steel, he can bash me all he wants. I'm a tanky Countess. What's he gonna do? Rampage comes in, helping out, making sure that Steel doesn't do anything funky. If I still have the teleport, there's a chance we could have turned that around a little more, but it's still okay. I guess the moral of the story there is just commit. If you're tanky Countess, commit as much as you can. I'm actually somewhat ahead in terms of levels, or at least breaking even. So I go to mid, and my lane's also pushed up, so that's another reason. I actually used Gideon's teleport portal, but it didn't really matter. He runs away. So that's okay. Just go back to lane. The thing with offlane is you want to make sure your lane is under control. You don't want your tower to get too low or damaged. Here's Crunch, just chilling out, and I noticed that Gideon's low, but Steel comes in, and I don't really want to do this team fight, so we kind of retreat, Rampage and I. But we were keeping an eye on everything. Later in the video, you will see Rampage and I coordinate a crazy attack on Gideon. But that'll come later. Back to laning phase, I get green buff this time, yay. And then I go back to mid. Now Gideon's at half. I check the river buff, it's not there. But at this point, I do want to get this kill. And I can tap towers, Tanky Countess. There we go. I think it's also worth noting that towers early game are fairly weak, so you can do that. I use my teleport to get in on the action left lane, get that steal kill. And I'm mindlessly meleeing, which is probably a bad idea. However, Decker comes in with a clutch ball, making it so my attacks actually hit. So I probably should have just went a little more forward and not melee, but Decker was just fine helping us there. And we get the Fang Tooth. My lane is pushed forward, and I should have probably just reset here, but instead I steal both river buffs. This was probably my biggest misplay. I should have just teleported away. But instead I think to myself, hey, I have river buffs, there's a steal, I could attack, oh wait, crunch. Now I'm screwed. And the thing that hurts the most is I just get ult. If I waited just a little bit longer, there's a chance I could have soloed the crunch at least. And then potentially Rampage and I could take out the steal. But he gets rid of the crunch, so that's good. It just goes to show not to linger on in your decisions, just kind of commit to something. Get rid of steal here, which is cool. Unfortunately, Gideon dodges a rock. That was kind of big on Gideon's part, but I feel kind of bad for him, so, you know, I keep ganking him and all. So it's okay, he can run away. We get green buff, and left lane is doing pretty good from the looks of it. So I just continue on my merry way, laning in right lane. I really want to take out this tower. And Crunch wants to fight me, but that's okay. I'm just going to run away. And here is a big decision, going for that Gideon while steal reset. So that was coordination on behalf of the Rampage and I. Steal reset. It just worked out. By steal resetting, we could easily take out the Gideon. I'm gonna just go to right lane. Crunch is a bit slower there. And take it down right lane tower. Offlane tower. At this point, I get my crest fully activated, and I choose the ability that deals damage to anything around me. So it's kind of like a Fire Blossom active. That will synergize really well with Lifebinder, but I don't actually have Lifebinder at the moment. I will post the full build for Tanky Countess in the comments, because I don't get to finish it, unfortunately. But this is still an effective build, and there's a chance that I could like rearrange the order, maybe the next item, instead of World Breaker, make that Lifebinder. So that was the Countess Predecessor gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.